Да, оце правильне слово сказали, капець. Можна навіть круче.
Russian incompetence is becoming a legendary attribute of their armed forces, and as much as we enjoy their constant blunders, we can't help but say, Shmucks, they did it again. In the border village of Grafivka in the Belgorod region, a bomb intended for a strike on Ukrainian territory exploded prematurely. We can say in the same way like Putin's confidence in his special military operation. According to available information, the bomb's explosion coincided with a drone attack on the settlement, which is home to a hydroelectric power station. It is reported that the explosion of the fallen aerial bomb was heard first in the settlement. As a result, 3 public facilities, 8 apartment buildings, and 33 private homes were damaged. The falling of Russian bombs on their own settlements is nothing new. In 2024, around 159 bombs dropped from Russian aircraft onto Russian territory, or the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. Meanwhile, by March 2025 alone, at least 127 bombs had already been recorded as having fallen out of Russian aircraft since the beginning of the year. This is likely linked to the increased use of aviation for strikes on Ukrainian territory. According to Astra's sources, since the start of the current year, Russian aircraft have released at least 120 high-explosive bombs and 7 UMPB, Universal Inter-Service Glide munitions. These are high-precision guided bombs with an integrated warhead equivalent to an FAB-250. As the things are going, Ukraine will have to intervene in Russia to save Russians form their own bombs. Clowns. Footage confirms the destruction of Russian Buk and Osa air defense systems by Lasar Group of the 27th Pantsir-S Brigade. Russian Buk and Osa air defense systems have long formed the backbone of Moscow's ground-based protection, covering everything from frontline troop concentrations to critical logistics hubs. Both systems were built to shield Russian forces from aircraft, helicopters, cruise missiles, and increasingly from the waves of Ukrainian drones reshaping the modern battlefield. But as the war continues, their performance, deployment, and losses in Ukraine reveal a system under growing pressure. The Buk family is Russia's medium-range workhorse. Developed in the late Soviet period and upgraded over decades, the Buk series includes the M1, M2, and the more advanced M3 variant. These systems combine mobile radars and missile launchers capable of tracking and engaging multiple targets at considerable distances. The Buk M3, in particular, is designed to operate as part of a layered shield, providing coverage over large sectors and protecting high-value positions and infrastructure. In Ukraine, the Buk has been deployed intensively. Russian ground units rely heavily on its range and flexibility as they try to keep Ukrainian aviation and drones at bay. However, Ukrainian forces have adapted rapidly. Drone reconnaissance, long-range precision strikes, and coordinated sabotage operations behind Russian lines have increasingly exposed the Buk's limitations. Over the past 2 years, Ukrainian special units and strike groups have repeatedly targeted Buk radars and launchers. Independent assessments suggest that more than 90 Buk systems of various types have been destroyed or disabled, and some estimates place the total damage much higher. These losses are significant because the Buk is expensive, technically complex, and slow to replace the Osa. By contrast, is Russia's short-range defensive shield. It is designed for quick reaction, protecting mobile units from low-flying threats. Its vehicle-mounted radar and missiles can relocate rapidly, making it a valuable tool for frontline point defense. But the Osa is older, easier to detect, and increasingly vulnerable to modern drones. In Ukraine, it has been used to protect Russian infantry positions, ammunition depots, and artillery batteries. Ukrainian forces have systematically hunted these systems as well, using precision drone strikes and artillery corrections to eliminate them. Verified losses number in the dozens, with broader estimates suggesting that as many as 60 or more have been taken out of action. The attrition of both Buk and Osa systems carries strategic consequences for Russia. Their destruction weakens Moscow's ability to shield its troops, exposes logistics routes, and erodes the layered air defense network that Russian operations depend on. For Ukraine, every destroyed launcher or radar opens the sky slightly more, allowing drones, missiles, and strike aircraft to operate with increased freedom. Russia continues to deploy and redeploy these systems along the front, but the pace of Ukrainian strikes and the mounting damage show a clear trend. The war is shifting toward a contest of endurance and adaptation, and in this fight, even the most established air defense pillars are proving far from invincible. Poland has reopened 2 road border crossings with Belarus, Kuźnica Białostoka and Bobrovniki, for the first time since 2023, the Podlaski division of Poland's border guard reported. The crossings had been closed due to the migration crisis, but officials now say the border is securely protected against illegal crossings. Local authorities had also requested the reopening, arguing that the closure of these checkpoints had harmed the regional economy. Ukraine plans to order 100 French Rafale fighter jets in order to strengthen the Ukrainian Air Force. Before the announcement, Zelensky and French President Emmanuel Macron signed an agreement on Ukraine's purchase of defense equipment. Back in 2021, reports indicated that Macron planned to offer Ukraine Rafale fighter jets to replace its Soviet-era MiG-29s during his visit to Kyiv. However, it was only this year that the French company Dassault Aviation confirmed it is ready to supply Rafale jets to the Ukrainian Air Force. It is likely that, along with discussions about the Rafale, the parties are also considering the modernization of the existing fleet of Mirage 2000 fighter jets that have already been transferred to Ukraine. The company currently has firm orders from France and 8 export customers for the delivery of another 233 Rafale fighter jets. Production is planned to increase to 4 aircraft per month. Recently, Dassault Aviation opened a new production line for the first time since the 1970s amid rising demand for Rafale fighter jets. More than 600 engineers work at the plant, enabling the annual production of 30 to 40 Rafale aircraft in the future. The Rafale is an almost entirely domestically produced product of the French industrial sector. Dassault Aviation is responsible for the airframe and overall systems integration, Thales, for the key sensors and avionics, and Snecma, now Safran aircraft engines, for the development and production of the M88 engines. This approach has provided France with technological independence and full control over a strategic-level combat aircraft. And from the other news, U.S. Marines guarding the embassy in Haiti this week engaged in a firefight with suspected members of local gangs. According to Bloomberg, the incident occurred on the evening of November 14th in the capital of the country, Port-au-Prince. This was reported by the representatives of the U.S. military on Saturday. According to Captain Stephen Keenan, the Marines, who provide security for the diplomatic mission, came under fire and promptly retaliated. None of the U.S. military was injured. This is not the first shooting at U.S. personnel in Haiti this year, but, according to Keenan, the most serious. The incident occurred amid a general deterioration in the security situation in the country. In 2023, the Pentagon stepped up security at the U.S. Embassy in Haiti due to the increase in violence by armed groups. The country has been in a political crisis since 2021, when President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated. Haiti is currently governed by a transitional presidential council that took power last year. It is trying to stabilize the situation, but without much success. According to the UN, about 85% of the capital's territory is controlled by armed gangs. In August, the U.S. Embassy announced the arrival of a new contingent of Marines to protect the diplomatic mission and rotate the previous staff. This allowed for continued support of the local police and the international security mission. This year, there have already been cases of shooting near the diplomatic zone. In 2023, the State Department evacuated non-key personnel from Haiti.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. you know, he's doing the job every day.